In here?
How about that?
We're
Does that
still
work
not
now?
live.
In here? Okay.
Now we're live.
Um, they added
You're
a
a
new
rookie.
feature. They added a feature that I didn't know, and I hit go live, and then I flipped over to YouTube, and what it's got now is it's got a it's like a studio setup. You can create scenes on the left hand side, and once you want to make it active, you got to hit transition and take it over to the right hand side, and that's what people see. So now I know. Sad.
Okay, I haven't done that yet.
Um, everybody keep Beth's wife in thoughts because she is still sick. She has pneumonia.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go down the roll call.
Texas Val's mom is probably still in the hospital too.
Yeah. Good morning, Bum Crack. Are you going to make a pilgrimage to London to pay your respects? Good morning, Deb. Good morning, Lag. Good to see you again.
Craig did a show this morning, but I was not awake at that time. I was still.
You know, usually I'm awake about that time, but last night it took me forever to go to sleep. And the next thing I knew, Roberta was because I went to sleep finally went to sleep in my recliner, and Roberta was woke me up, passing by to go to the sunroom to start working, and because I was going to log in because I'm usually up at that time. Good morning, Red. And of course, good morning, Craig, if I didn't say that already. So you packed and ready to go?
No.
You only got a couple of days before you depart, don't you?
I know. Still, when I get deported. Yeah, this weekend we're headed out.
You fly from here to New York and then into Milan?
Yeah.
Oh, Gwen's not going to shop. I mean, Gwen's not going to pack. She's just going to buy all new when she gets to Milan.
Mm-hmm.
Lord, if Todd got deported and took all his money with him, the president wouldn't know what to do. He'd have to find somebody. He'd have to start calling Bridget to get a loan from her.
Yep.
Hey, Chicken Toad. You'll all come at one time. Hey, Sandy. But thank you for coming in this morning. So you're going to come?
Hey, Tom.
Yes, sir.
I got a message from heaven yesterday evening.
Okay.
Yeah, my mom sent me a Facebook friend request. I didn't even know Jesus started Facebook in heaven.
Well, you know, he's on top of
I'm
everything. You
Kind
really
of
got a
thinking,
friend request from your mom.
yeah, I'm kind of thinking somebody hacked my mom's Facebook account.
I would believe so.
Facebook knows so much about our business. I mean, you talk about stuff, and then when you turn on Facebook, you get advertisements to buy the stuff you've been talking about, Well, or looking at online. Well, how do they know somebody is not dead and just remove their account? How do they not? They got so many bots to figure out other things. I bet
Well,
Facebook has 50 million dead people on there that still have accounts.
I was watching briefly little blurbs of it's somebody from Twitter, an engineer from Twitter that has become a whistleblower, and they're being they're being drilled pretty hard by the Senate. And apparently, like, there's 8,000 engineers, and they all have access to everybody's information. Where because of the data they store, they know where if you've
Yeah,
moved permanent locations, they know that they know places that you've been because of the IPs picking up off of your phones and laptops and whatnot.
there's no way that Facebook couldn't figure out a bot to take out all the people that are passed away. There's no way.
Well, when my mom went and voted for the primary, she asked to make sure, or she checked to make sure my dad had been removed from the voter registration.
Yeah, I keep getting. I bet I've gotten 5 different Facebook requests from Bill Woods. He was a mentor, older teacher, band director. He's been dead for about 3 years. It's just
You,
crazy.
you know, going back to what you were saying about you Google one thing and all of a sudden it starts popping up in your feed or your Facebook feed and whatnot. Roberta was looking for something for the wedding, and did a Google search, and now I'm getting advertisements in my Facebook feed for flower vases and whatnot.
Yeah. And
Good
I've
morning,
got
Texas.
a high school. We graduated together and see each other at the 10-year and reunions.
Yeah.
But I know that he would not. He keeps sending me Facebook calls, not the requests. He sends call. I get calls from you on Facebook. Was it when you call somebody on Facebook?
Sounds like it.
Like,
He
like
is still alive.
yeah.
Okay. It sounds like he
But
butt dialed you.
no, he keeps doing it though, and I don't know why he would answer them. No, because I know he could private message me if he wants to, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to accept I might look at a private message from him, but I'm not going to take it's got to be a scammer of some kind.
Right. Good, good morning, Mr. Sadie.
Sadie.
Tex. Texas Val. How you doing? How's your mom?
Sadie said he never had Facebook. Wow. I did quite a lot on Facebook. I mean, telling other people happy birthday and such things, but I don't post much.
I never had Facebook until some coworkers said, "Aren't you on Facebook? Be my Farmville friend." And I said, no, I'm not on Facebook. And they're like, when you get home, get on Facebook and then start playing Farmville. And that is the only reason I'm on Facebook. I'm
Still
sorry to
in
hear
the
that.
ICU. Dang. Sorry, Texas Val. Came close for the reselling aspect.
Well, we hope she gets better. Believe me, I know that's stressful.
Seems like the big YouTubers also do all the other social media sites like Instagram and TikTok and Facebook and whatever else is out there.
Yeah, and I don't know how they do it.
Scott's been doing that uncensored video site. What's it called?
Rumble?
Rumble.
Yeah. This is actually streaming over to Rumble.
Between a little bit of Facebook and YouTube, that's about all I want to do on social.
I don't know how these people keep up with it. The at Facebook, she will never hear this or see this video, so I'm not worried about it. My sister-in-law goes on vacation. She'll post 100 pictures on Facebook, and I have problems remembering to post one. You know.
Yeah, if I wanted to post something like happy anniversary to me and my wife, and you could put it on, like Lag says, you could put it on everything all at the same time.
Yeah. Is this your anniversary or is this trip?
No,
Is that for you?
This is because it's
She said so.
September. We're going.
Okay. She said so.
Well, we were gonna go in the summer, and then I forget why we didn't. We're gonna go somewhere in the summer, but she was kind of wanting to go to Italy, and I said, "Isn't Italy hot in the summer?" Which it is, about like Texas.
Boy, it's nice outside here today. Feels like
Yeah, it
fall.
was almost chilly this morning. I went outside in my shorts to water the garden, and brr. 62.
Yeah, I'll be glad when it gets down to the 60s and stay there. Then I can open up the windows and turn the AC off.
Yeah, a month ago that would have been 78 this time of day.
I don't think it got below the 80s just about for 3 months. That's better than up there where Nikki's at, where it stays at 13 below zero for 2 months.
Yeah. Thank goodness. I got my electric bill yesterday, and it was $150 less than the month before.
Do you have all the ACs turned off and unplugged everything?
No. It's just, I have high electric bills all the time anyway because we got so much stuff going on. But yeah, the average daily high temperature for August was about 12, 14 degrees cooler than it was in July.
Deb, I thought would think that y'all would have like a crosswind across the island out there. Well, peninsula.
Oh, the railroads didn't strike, Sadie. Haven't kept up with it. Yeah, you talk about a bottleneck, shortages of almost everything. Sheesh.
Yeah. I mean, most of the stuff is still, I mean, it's transferred by trucks,
Yeah,
but it has to get to these major depots before they can load them on the trucks. Because,
yeah.
everything's coming from China. So,
I mean, even electricity. We got a lot of coal-fired electric plants in Texas still. Coal is about 10% of our electricity in Texas, probably. And
good
even
morning,
more
Jess
so in
Pamela.
other states.
Yeah, well, we have
Coal is probably 80% of Oklahoma's electric.
we have a nuclear power plant nearby, and I think they ship all that electricity elsewhere.
There's coal trains go through our town about probably 10 a day.
I think they shut down all the coal-fired. I was just trying to think. There used to be a coal-fired one down southwest of Charlotte, over in Gaston County, and I think they shut that one down.
Yeah, in the automobile industry, it doesn't need the trains to shut down.
Yeah.
They're just now starting to get a few chips and a few new cars built. Crazy.
Yeah, on Tuesday when Tara was on here, she said that they went by this truck parking lot of Ford or Chevrolet, one of them. I don't remember which one she said.
Yeah,
and she said
UPS could shut down too.
Yeah. She said there's like 10,000 trucks out there, and none of them had the chip that they need to operate. Yeah, UPS and FedEx are thinking about striking. So that means that Christmas, if you're going to ship something for Christmas, you better do it right now. And I'm talking about if you're shipping somebody, your great aunt Esmeralda or something in Oklahoma, you better go ahead and do it now. I'm not talking about something that you sell and then then you try to ship.
Yeah, just on the card with it, you put, have a good Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah. It's getting ready to just blast right on through. It's the Christmas, man. We have the wedding before Thanksgiving, and then we have Christmas after Thanksgiving. It just seems like November to the first of the year is just one thing after another, trying to fit in visits with family and everything else. These weddings get out of control. You still have one more son to marry off, don't you?
Yeah, we're finally selling his house. We signed the preliminary contract for $150K.
Think it'll
which
sell
is
fast?
no. We got a buyer. We got a live buyer.
Oh,
So
the preliminary contract was not for you to sell it to the realtor to sell it for you. You've actually got somebody interested in it.
yeah,
Oh wow, that's cool. Because you just listed it a couple weeks ago, a week ago.
yeah. I mean, we worked with a realtor maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. Yeah, Lag, it's not a fancy house and it's run down as hell, but bad foundation problems and everything. Yeah, live buyer is better than a dead one. Yeah, he's an investor. He's going to buy it and fix it up and resell it. Fixer upper.
I
don't see how they do that. They can buy a house for 150, spend 80 grand on it, fixing it up. So now they're into it for what, 230, and then they sell it for 250, and so they make $20,000 for their investment.
Yeah, but then if you got taxes on top of that and transfer fees and.
No, it won't go for 350 in that neighborhood and the type of house it is.
Because
the average sold price of a house in pretty good shape in his neighborhood is 250. But that house does need a full $80,000 worth of work done to it. So now he's shopping for a condo. He wants to move into a condo where he doesn't have to mow the grass. He would rather pay a homeowners association to mow his grass than keep up with it himself.
Well, at least you won't have to worry about the outside of it.
Yeah.
The inside of it, you'll still have to worry about. But the Europeans, they live their whole life in apartments. They don't buy houses, especially in like Germany and that area.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not a thing they do.
He could have my HOA.
It's
like,
yeah, Todd, you can take your lawnmower over and cut his grass for him.
I put up a new lawn mowing video.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I got the smoking under control, but I had other problems. It's never easy.
Yeah.
That mower's getting old. If you mow for a while and then stop to like go move a garden hose or something,
right,
it's hard to start after you stop. You have to let it cool down. And so, yeah.
Get you an electric one.
Electric mower?
Yeah.
No. I tried to use an electric mower once. It didn't work worth a darn.
Oh, the new one's supposed to be good, though.
One of those e-machines. I'm like, no. We sell those at a Home Depot, and I was like, that looks like a toy. Give me a beefy steel deck mower that blows smoke every once in a while. That's what I want.
My across the street neighbor, Noel, he has a lawn service. There's about 5 further on into the subdivision that have lawn services. If you leave out of here about 6 o'clock in the morning, you just see one truck with mowers behind it after another.
I do keep mine in the shed. It doesn't get rained on or.
That daggum fuel situation with the new ones, where you have to have the true fuel that doesn't have any additives in it.
Mm-hmm.
If you use regular fuel, like from the gas pumps one time, it just messes up the carburetor. I found that out after the fact. And it took me a can of, the nitrous spray or whatever, like a quick start. When you're
Yeah.
trying to crank an engine that won't crank. Took me a
Ether.
can of that and a lot of pulling to get that thing cleaned out. But it works. Sergey can go outside and pull it a couple of times and it cranks right up. Yeah, Deb, I've seen that guy. I've seen a couple of them, especially if he's heard that there's illness or they're just elderly or something like that. They go in and cut it for free. That's me and Todd. We're elderly. We should get free lawn service.
There's a lot of lawns in our town that, boy, the summer drought just beat everything down. And so nobody really, if you didn't feel like mowing, you really didn't have to mow pretty much from the end of June all the way into the middle of August, and then it started raining. And there are tall weeds all over town now. It's funny how a drought will kill your grass, but it won't kill the weeds. Rains on those weeds and they just grow. Hey, water.
Noel said that, some of their lawns and some of the really up, ritzy areas of town that he does work in, he said you walk across their yard and it's like crunch, 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 crunch.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
that's why it was ours too. It's just so dry and brittle.
At the estate sale last weekend, I bought one of those tractors that run along your garden hose that waters the yard.
Yeah.
Bought them for $5. I looked on eBay. I thought, man, I ought to sell this. Even the used ones are going for $65.
Wow.
And new ones are about $100.
Your water bill will be $300 a month.
Oh, will it?
Yeah, you use a lot of water.
Hey, I was using a lot of water anyway, just using old sprinklers. But now I don't have to go change the water every 15 minutes.
Speaking of watering, has anybody spoke to Valerie to find out how she's doing out in Cali?
Haven't heard. They were still in a hotel last I heard a couple of days ago.
Yeah, when a few days ago we were talking, and she said that they were staying in a hotel and that they're really scalping them out there.
She did say that the hotel they were in booted them out because they only had like a 2-day reservation or something.
Yeah, they had to go someplace else.
They had to move because they were booked so they couldn't stay in the same hotel. So they've been hotel bouncing. What a pain in the pain.
Just Pamela said she waters her grass all the time. Everything's having droughts down here. California doesn't have any water. when it rains out here in like in the Carolinas, it's been raining so hard that it doesn't have time to soak into the ground. It just runs off into the street.
Yeah.
Which are
had beautiful St. Augustine grass in the front and backyards both, but I couldn't keep. I just barely kept enough water in the front yard to keep it going. The backyard, it's gone.
Mr. Sadie says. Mr. Sadie says I try to kill my grass and it's thick as thieves. If you were trying to sell it, Sadie, it would if you're trying to sell your house and you have a nice luscious lawn, it'd be yellow and patchy and everything else.
Yeah, I need AstroTurf. Bunch of the yards in Dallas Fort Worth have AstroTurf yards because their yards are a lot smaller.
Right.
And it just kind of makes sense. They have to go out and vacuum their yards instead of mowing them. Hey, Scott.
There's our radical.
Radical.
Good morning, Scott. How are you?
Hey, you radical.
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
You radical young son of your mother.
I've been out radicalizing. That's what I've been doing.
Hey, Scott, I got a Facebook friend request from my mom yesterday evening. From heaven. She's been passed away 14 months. She sent me a Facebook friend request. How about that?
Facebook's trying to put the mediums out of business. No more seances.
Now they can say that she can find
That's
I need to say a prayer and ask Jesus when he put Facebook into heaven, but whatever.
My lovely bride said she's active on Facebook now, so now she can vote.
Shoot, Sadie, Scott don't mow.
I don't know.
He got a lawn service.
That's the best $40 I spend every week. What are you talking about?
$40 a week. That's not bad. You got a big yards?
Nah, it's a little over half acre.
That's a big lawn, a big yard nowadays.
Over here, that would cost you probably $100 a week.
They don't have to cut around all those oil wells in your backyard, Todd.
Oh, shut up.
Zuckerberg is an alien. Yeah, I was watching on YouTube one of the interviews he had, and I'm sure he's a pretty smart fella, but he looks like half the time he looks like a deer caught in headlights when they're asking him questions.
He's a loser. They don't blink.
That's what Lag just said.
He looks like a cyborg. It looks like.
He's rich as dirt, though.
Oh, sorry, Sadie. Yeah, he looks a little bit like Data on Star Trek.
100%.
Talks kind of like Data, too.
Yeah, Mr. Sadie, he did get a friend request from his mom.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now you got to ask yourself, does your mom, is she in heaven or like Ethiopia or one of those places?
Todd, did you see? I mean, not Todd. Scott, did you see any of the interviews with the guy from Twitter that the Senate's been drilling? He's a whistleblower.
I did not, but I've read a lot of it. I didn't see I didn't see it per se, but they're in a lot of trouble. They're as crooked as we thought they were, and it's gonna bleed over to at some point. You know, not to get crazy conspiracy theories, but at some point, it's going to be proven that all these social media platforms are extensions of the government. And you know, if you the reading I've done, if you look at the infrastructure and the bandwidth and everything it takes to run a Facebook, there's got to be government support that have got this thing, that got it up so fast and got it so. And anybody see all the Bourne movies? Did you see the last one? So the last Jason Bourne movie was about this guy. He was of Indian descent, but that doesn't matter. Who was running, who like Zuckerberg invented this big social media platform that had the same kind of control and stuff. And turns out the CIA wanted him killed because he wasn't doing their bidding as he agreed to, and they were going to show the world that he had sold out all his subscribers or whatever by getting in bed with the government and on and on and on. And there's a lot of truth in that one. If you watch that Bourne movie, there's a lot of truth in that one.
Well, in other industries,
Yep.
you can opt out of this stuff. But I guess because you're paying in those industries, you can opt out on all this data collection. But the freebies, if you want to use them, you have to follow their rules and allow them to do what they want to. But they, this senator I was watching when he was interviewing the guy from Twitter, he was like, so you're saying there's like 8,000 engineers that can access any kind of information about your subscribers? And he's like, yes, sir. They can tell where you've lived. And he said, we're assuming that when you have the same same address, IP address, that that's a form of residency. But he's like, we can tell everything. We can tell where you go. He says they're not supposed to, because that's confidential information. But there's no safeguards in place to keep an arbitrarily engineer from tracking down a person and then putting all their information out there. Like says he worked for Twister for a while. And see, I've never really got into Twitter. I don't even follow anybody on Twitter.
I had an account, never used it much. I deleted all that.
So you shipping a lot this morning, Scott?
I think 6.
Give us an update on the customer from yesterday.
Yes, I'm looking at my phone last night, and I'm like, I think I was on the phone with Harlan, and I'm like, well, I'll be damned. She found a box. She opened a return. She found a printer, or she found a way to get it back. Because she opened a UPS. Let's see if she actually has had it picked up yet. Because the one thing Amazon does, eBay does it now too. You can look at the
tracking.
Yeah. No, it's still. So it says carrier has picked up the package, but that is what the event detail says whenever they just create the label. So it's not been picked up yet because it has not been scanned. So she has created it, but yeah.
Just so that for the ones that weren't watching Scott's show yesterday, he sold a camera.
She claimed it didn't have batteries. It was supposed to have an SD card. The thing about Amazon is, as long as you put it in the condition notes and those things are not included, or what exactly is included, because somebody had gone down in the section. A flaw in Amazon systems is that they give access to a lot of people in order that can change listings. So this is a Nikon camera. The listing was whoever made the listing. Someone has gone in and under the legal disclaimer has put includes battery and an SD card. Nowhere else in the whole listing does it say this, but under the legal disclaimer, doesn't say it in the description, doesn't the top bullet points, none of this stuff. And so everybody in the condition notes will put on there, like I did. I put it includes the neck strap, it includes the lens cover, camera's been fully tested. That's it. No manuals, no nothing. And mine is identical to a bunch of them. A bunch of them say the exact same thing. Well, this she screenshots me pictures of the listing of the legal disclaimer. The batteries. Okay, so I would never sell on Amazon. It has to work. So I would never sell this camera without the batteries. The battery in this one is listed right now because it takes that kind of battery. The one that I sold takes AA batteries. So AA battery, alkaline AA batteries being shipped can just be a problem. They can never be. I mean, they're going to add you weight. They could get messed up. They could damage the product. So if it's AA batteries, I never use them. I never put them in there because I don't want to take a chance. And everybody has AA batteries. I mean, you can get them at the Dollar Tree or almost a dollar store. And so I look at it as more of a hazard and more of a detriment to a product. So that's why I don't include them. It's not that I'm that cheap. I've got batteries. I buy them. I buy Amazon batteries, about 20 or 30 at a time.
But you sold it without batteries.
I sold it, and
your listing says without batteries.
She claims the flash doesn't work. That's how she's calling it defective. I'll test it when I get it back. I test it worked before I sent it. So I'm not your regular shipper. I don't just throw it in a box or whatever. Or I don't put it in bubble mailer. I use these big. Do I have one that's not? So I use these things. I make these up out of my machine. I put it in a 10 by 8 by 6 box, and it was surrounded by these things enough to where it filled the entire box up. So it's not going to get damaged. It's a small item is not going to get damaged because it's hugged with love by those air pillows. But I got a feeling that it's coming back with no packaging, no nothing. I bet it's just going to be in a box. Don't worry. I'll make sure I record it to see how it comes back.
That was through Amazon, right? You sold it through Amazon?
Yeah. And like 100% correct. If you're in the used buy box, it doesn't show your description, so they have to click through a couple times to see it. Which is another flaw by Amazon. So the eBay catches a lot of grief, and a lot of YouTubers talk about YouTube and their systems and the way things work. I love the fact that over the past few years, that the condition of a item on an eBay listing has gotten prominence. They've pushed it to the top, and you see it very, very easy. That is a good thing. That is a very good thing. And so even if all they're reading is the title, a lot of times, most of the time, you can still see that description. Even if the only thing you looked at was the first picture and the title, you'll see the condition notes. So, but Amazon needs to fix that. But because it's the craziest shit. So the very first of all my condition notes on Amazon for a used item, I put used whatever, used printer, used camera. because I can't tell you how many times the customer has. I've gotten 6 or 7 returns in the last 2 months. I ordered a new one. You sent me a used one. You bought a used one, dumbass. You know, it doesn't. It has a little blurb at the very top. It just says buy used, buy open box. It doesn't. I mean, it needs to be something flashing saying, you know, Amazon customer that you're dumb as dirt. But
Do you had your fulfilled by Amazon warehousing space cut back, didn't you?
everybody did. Yeah, they dropped mine from 8,000 to 2,500 or something like that.
Wow.
But they left my clothing alone, or not. That's what I've sold the most of in the last year is all of that dang Hanes. Let me see where we're at.
Good morning, Mr. Sadie.
Good morning. Good morning.
You at work?
Yeah.
Are you
my
at
shop.
work?
Right. I try not to do that often if I don't have to.
Man, they are really changing the way the menus and stuff on Amazon. Yeah, my maximum inventory is 2,480. But apparel, I still have 7,300.
They're scared to look for it to send it all back.
Sorry, I'm getting text from the.
What's up this morning, Mr. Sadie?
Not a lot. Same old kind of. I was wondering if Scott had heard anything else about their railroad strike, any details. All I heard was they had some kind of temporary agreement, but
The stuff I was reading this morning was from last night, was saying that the Northeast was already they were any of you folks in the audience or people that view this that live in the Northeast understand that even though you can go the next rest of this year without seeing a train up there. Train freight is so important to your area because you don't have oil refineries, because remember how close to, everything is packed into the Northeast. These cities are on top of each other. It's not like the South where, all these oil refineries are on the Gulf Coast, and the pipelines that you guys hate up there, you bunch of liberals, and these things that you don't want to exist. So that means it's got to be brought in on trains. Trains bring in a significant amount of fuel that the pipelines can't carry. And the fuel, that's going to be a huge issue in the Northeast is fuel. Your prices are going to go up, and you're going to have fuel shortages without trains. And so it will affect you greatly. It's going to affect everybody because you can't imagine what comes on trains. The freight that they carry is even out of the ports where they carry the semi trucks so far. Go out. Well, I'll do it for you in 6 weeks. Whenever it's less than that. I leave in 18 days going out west. You can't imagine these long trains out there that are just carrying freight off the West Coast. These trains are, and you see them, every 20, 30 minutes on the Interstate 40. You can't imagine the stuff they carry.
I've heard numbers as high as 40%.
Do y'all get a lot of y'all's produce and stuff through via trains?
No, you know what? We used to. Almost all the produce used to come in by train, by railroad car. We unloaded it. We've got a yard right behind our building that is an old railroad stop. But all produce used to run mostly by train back in the day. We used to get the bananas on. We would get bananas on hooks. Huh?
It comes by truck now, though, right?
Yeah, most everything comes by semi now, yeah. Yeah, we used to get snakes and spiders and from these third world countries, from the bananas that would be hanging on railroad cars. Everything came in loose. We'd get loose potato loads. This was 30 years ago, though. Now everything's changed now. Everything comes in boxes, and it's been pretty much already gone through. Even our Alabama mountain grown tomatoes.
Yeah, that's got
Tomatoes and
that's
taters.
got to be a company up here in North Alabama on this corner somewhere.
I'm sure, yeah.
Those
Yeah,
mountain grown Alabama tomatoes.
the craziest thing in that side of the world. That's northeast Alabama. So if you don't know, Alabama has some of the craziest, most restrictive marijuana laws in the country. Most of the South does. Tennessee's got them. I'm not sure. Mississippi, they're all because of the Bible Belt, and it's going to take literally an act of Congress to take marijuana off the Schedule 1 and all that stuff in order for it to be legal down here. But Teddy Gentry, one of the founding members of the group Alabama, for you older folks who don't know who Alabama was, they were a super group in the 80s. You can't imagine when country was still,
Country.
It was still country and it was still, music and country people. Alabama bridged a gap. They were one of the first true crossovers to have hits on regular radio and country radio. Alabama was a tremendous group in that. That was the first concert I ever went to. My dad took us to see him in Raleigh, North Carolina in the 80s. But Teddy Gentry was caught. They arrested him and paraded him around that little bitty town he's from in North Alabama for possession of a joint. They put him in an orange jumpsuit, took pictures of him, and then cut him loose on his own recognizance.
Over a single joint.
They put all these news articles out, and I guess they expected some kind of, because there's a lot of healthy respect in the South for police officers. If you haven't lived out here, you don't understand. The South backs the blue, but man, they were just slaughtering these folks. It was just disband the police. I mean, it was just people are going crazy. Don't mess with an icon like that, and don't mess with their country music over something as silly as a joint.
Yeah,
they are icons. I grew up listening to Alabama. My mom and dad had them playing all the time.
Yeah, in Texas. Willie Nelson is like, oh, he got caught with marijuana again? Oh, okay.
Okay, whatever.
Right.
Yeah, you said Mountain Tomatoes. That reminded me of the old Mountain Music. That was one of their bigger hits.
Oh, play me some mountain music.
One of these days, I'm going to climb that mountain.
Alabama used to be they used to play at Myrtle Beach all the time.
Yeah. Then they have they've got a theater and at least they had one.
Yeah, I think they had one. When they were first getting going and started crossing over, there's a place called the Magic Attic down at Myrtle Beach, and the first floor was just a game room, pinball machines and skee balls and all that kind of touristy stuff, and then above it was like a teen hangout type place, teens and 20s, and they played up there a lot.
What's up,
Yeah, Julie, let's go shagging.
Look, say hey to everybody. Say I don't like any of y'all, but hello.
Todd, you had to take your dog to the vet, didn't you?
It's nothing personal. I don't like nobody.
Yeah, she got her allergy shot, so haven't seen her do any scratching or licking lately.
So my buddy Dave from California was here Friday. He left Tuesday morning, and Phoebe has barked at him every time he blinked, thought about moving. She has barked at him nonstop for 3.5, 4 days.
Well, maybe she realized he was from California, and you can't trust him.
She does the same thing to Harlan. She does the same thing to our good friends, the other Steve and Marsha. It's weird to have two couple friends, both Steve and Marsha, but yeah, there's two Steve and Marshas.
Mm-hmm.
Say I like Mama, Daddy, and Jacob, and nobody else.
I got
And it
this in
was.
my store, Scott. Oh,
Do
sorry.
what?
Sorry about that.
Would you say, Mr.
Can you
Grady?
see that?
Yeah.
That old Alabama fan and 2 concert tickets from 1983.
Cool.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't know what year it was. I mean, maybe we saw him in the 70s. My dad got sick with cancer in 84, so it had to be before 84. And it was before he got remarried to that fucking bitch of a stepmom. That was 80. That was 83.
I was assuming you got cut out of her wheel.
That's
Oh
how
my
you
God.
really feel.
If you mention her name around my brother, he will just start dropping F-bombs and cussing and wishing her death and everything else.
Oh Lord.
Yeah,
I think every family has someone like that in there. I know I do.
She didn't bother me as bad as my brother, but my brother, God,
Was he younger or older?
he's 11 months younger. So that first album, "Feels So Right," was 81. So it must have been Mountain Music was 82. So it must have been in 82 when we saw. My Homes in Alabama was 1980. Hell, it could have been earlier. I guess that was our big first. Their first big album was 1980. Man, that'll make you feel old.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Yeah, this little fan I got's from Fort Payne, Alabama.
Yeah, that's where they still live today. That's where Alabama was from, Fort Payne.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, there's statues and everything else in the downtown. Well, they call it a downtown. It's like it's like 2 blocks long, and then there's a bunch of little strip malls.
Yeah. Typical
see,
old country town.
In our household, because Roberta is so much younger than I am, we grew up in entirely different types of music. She liked hair bands, and I just whatever. Scott's there for you on that, honey. I grew up on whatever they were playing on, 107.9, the radio station.
Yeah, man, I was big into hair. My dad, when he was alive, absolutely refused to have me listen to Motley Crue because of the name of their first album was "Shout at the Devil," and I'm like, my whole argument was they said "shout at the devil," not with him. Damn, and yeah, so. Yeah, so he didn't care for a lot. He didn't care for a lot of that.
Those hair bands, they destroyed the ozone.
Yeah. Oh my God! Go back and look at some if you youngins want a interesting exercise and just humor, go back, start googling 80s hairstyles and this giant hair that these women. I mean, it was all hairspray and oh my.
In that movie Hairspray, they're making fun of all the boofy doos and all that kind of stuff, but it came back in the 80s.
Oh my God! What a vengeance! White Rain ruled the 80s.
That's right. That's the reason we got such big holes in the ozone. Which my dad was one of these. There was some men's hairspray because his hair was always pushed back and it was in place and always. And my younger brother and I were laughing about it. It's like he's probably one of the reasons that there's a hole in the ozone over South Carolina.
Yeah, I remember those days. Roller disco and
I don't remember the roller disc. I mean, I remember the roller discos. I never participated in the roller discos.
I mean, it's amazing the things we've seen in our lifetimes. I mean, people have when your perspective is only, like my son has always had a cell phone. He's not known what the TV and that kind of stuff. To realize in the mid to late 70s, on a Friday night, my parents would drop us off at a skating rink and have no idea what we were doing. Just like give us a few dollars and come back and get us 5 hours later when the place closed. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, and that went on for years and years. And the old adage, when was your curfew? When street lights came on. when it was dark and the street light came on is when you came inside.
There was a video on Facebook where this woman called all of her kids out, and they were all like less than 12. And she said, "Show me act like you're going to talking on a telephone," and they're all doing this instead of this, like what we would do.
But there's just the telephone thing.
Social media and stuff, has been a blessing and a curse. Being able to track everybody down and create the feeling that you need to know where somebody is every minute. I'm sure there were bad people in the 70s and 80s. Kids got stuff happened to people, and there were murders and stuff going on, probably at the same or worse rates. You just didn't hear about it every 5 seconds.
Yeah,
and so
it was
there wasn't a fear that kids would walk to school through neighborhoods that I can't figure how many of my friends rode bikes because the neighborhood from my elementary school, there's a huge neighborhood right across the street. They all walked. Nobody. You never heard of anything happening to anybody.
When I was a kid, I grew up in a subdivision in Goose Creek, South Carolina, which is a suburb of Charleston, and there was, from my house, you could ride an hour one way and never leave the subdivisions. It was like one subdivision connected into another one. You go do the same thing on the other 3 sides of us. And we would leave out during the summer. We would leave out after breakfast. And my mom had no idea where we were at. Now, we weren't getting into trouble because my father would have killed us. But, we were all over the place. But we had to be home for lunch. And then we'd go back out again, and we had to be home by 4 o'clock because my dad came in at about 4:30, and we sat down to dinner at 5 every night. But those days out when we were just riding around, hanging out with our friends, and, I had just turned 13 when we moved from Charleston to Rock Hill. And so, I was little. Now, people, Scott, you're such an ass. And I just, boom, what was my train of thought? And nowadays, people will not, my kids, if they walk down to the Greenway in their 20s, if they're not back in a few minutes, I'm worried, or I start getting a little antsy about what are they doing? Oh, if something happened to them. I did not have a driver, Scott.
Yeah, because I grew up in rural North Carolina. When I was 10 years old and my brother was 9, for that Christmas, we both got shotguns for Christmas because we hunted everything in the woods around us. Every squirrel, rabbit, dove in Lower County feared the area that we lived in because there was like 6 of us, and if it moved, we shot it. And nobody ever hurt anybody. None of the 6 of us. I mean, it is true. I lived in the little bitty county, and when I was in high school, everybody drove a truck, and every one of them had shotguns in the back window in the parking lot of the school. Nobody gave a shit. Nobody even thought about if there was a fight. Nobody thought about let me go grab a shotgun. If you got your ass kicked, you got your ass kicked.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now and then everybody, hell, they were a couple days later they were back being friends again. Whoever was fighting, I mean, there was nothing. It was a crazy different time.
I graduated in 1976. Boys would come to high school, come to high school, park in the student parking lot, and there would be shotguns laying up in the rack in the back window. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that was kind of.
I mean, that was common. Nobody messed with them. Nobody broke in the cars and stole them.
Nope.
You know, probably half of them wasn't even locked. They weren't hid behind the front seat. They were right up there wherever. If you walked by the car, you could see, or the truck, you could see them.
Yeah, we used to just leave our keys in the car. We never even thought about somebody taking the car.
Bum crack. I did not ever. The only time I ever played with rolling the hoop was that we were at historic Brattonsville, and they were doing. They were showing our kids, which our kids were real little kids then, how to play with the hoop and the stick and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that is crazy. The Cowboys have lost Dak already for the first, what they're saying, 4 to 6 weeks.
Oh god,
they're bad too.
They're in horrible. Jones traded off all the good players, and except for
he's at the point where you can look at them. You can look at the Raiders and look at the Cowboys. And there was what's his name for the Raiders was good at a certain time, but as he got older, he and his picks and his craziness, and he kind of drove the Raiders into the ground. Jerry Jones is the same way. He started out pretty decent with some of the moves he made to bring the Super Bowls in, but that gave him some unfound confidence that he knows what he's doing with football. And it's been a cluster since the late 90s.
He's always been the showman, so he would always buy the star players and blow his salary cap on all the big name. And so the rest of the team just, for the last 25 years, it just sucked.
I was just thinking myself.
The one bright spot is defense, and that Parsons kid, man, he can kick some quarterback butt now. If Parsons was on a championship team, there, dang.
I was thinking to myself, where is Carol? She has not harassed us at all today.
She's got out of bed.
She popped up.
Her maid came in and got her breakfast tray, and then set her laptop up on her tray up in front of her. She hadn't even got out of bed yet. Well, the Panthers are still in Charlotte. They were moving their corporate headquarters across the state line into South Carolina and down to Rock Hill. And I don't even know what the hell happened with that mess, but everything's all blown up. There's lawsuits going on now. It's just a mess. So I guess they're coming back they're moving their headquarters back to Charlotte, or keeping it in Charlotte.
So what did South Carolina give them? Some kind of sweetheart tax deal or something to move them down there?
All that kind of stuff, but somebody ran out of money, and I'm not sure who ran out of the money. I don't know whether it was the Panthers' part or whether it was Rock Hill's part, but somebody ran out of money.
Yay, I like that.
That's Scott's ringtone. And plus, the guy that owns the Panthers, he also has started a pro soccer team. So he's getting more money out of the city. I don't know how they come up with all the money to do all this crap. Raise taxes.
The Man Show. Right, Carol.
Well, Carol, I can take care of that. If I can find there it is. I got so many tabs up. There you go, Carol. Bust down the wall. Break through the ceiling. Come on in. I've got a single hair that is just irritating the daylights out of me this morning.
A single hair.
Yeah, it's just one little hair that kind of flips down over my eyes, and it's silver, so it's reflecting all the light.
Well, if you trim your eyebrows once in a while, that wouldn't happen.
Amen.
What, shut up, Roberta.
What'd she say?
She said, "Amen, brother." Every time I get my hair cut, they push hog my eyebrows. She's sitting right over there.
Be thankful you have enough hair to cut, Tom. Some of us aren't so lucky, okay?
Yeah, I ain't got none on top. I got one of those reverse bowl cuts.
Well, Todd, you need to get you a mullet now.
You know what? I stopped taking Tom advice about the second day I met you.
Oh, Lord.
Are you saying Tom's advice don't work out?
Shoot.
Walking around this town, you go to the grocery store around this town and you see these guys that has no hair on top of their head, and and then the hair is on the sides and the back, and then they have an 18-inch long mullet back there in the back.
Yeah, I need to grow me a Willie Nelson ponytail and just wear a cowboy hat.
We were talking about back in the day, I had one of them little ducktails. My dad called it a duck's ass, and he made me get rid of it back in the 80s.
I thought you said it
But
was
that's back.
I thought
That's
you were
back when I had
a rat's tail.
No. What do they call it? A duck's tail? You remember those? Just a little.
Mm-hmm.
My dad hated that thing. I took a beating and a half over that one.
Well, until I was about 15 years old, I always had a flat top. And when I had to beg my dad to let me grow my hair out long. And it never got real long. It covered my ears, that kind of thing. And then between my junior and senior year of high school, I was working on one of his survey crews out in the woods. And, of course, you're getting crap in your hair and sweaty and all this kind of stuff. And Saturday morning, I went and got my hair cut. And when I came back, it was all cut over the ears and short. Not a flat top short, but it was short. And my mom said, "Well, that's a switch." And I said, "Well, it's just too much of work during the winter. During the summer." My dad came up and he said, after all that he said that GD whining and carrying on you did about letting you grow your hair out long, and now you've got it cut short.
Right.
And I kept it short after that. I had my little flirt with the long hair, and being the kind of work that I did, it just was not working out. Because, you walk through the woods, especially areas that have not been walked in lately, there's spider webs and, all just cedar tree limbs flaking off on you and all this kind of mess. It just didn't work out good. And now it's getting thin on top. And my younger brother gives me hell about it. And my older brother. Because my older brother is real thin on top. And my younger brother is headed that way.
I lost my hair at a very early age.
Yeah, a guy I went to high school with, he would have been like 16 years old. And his hair just disappeared. And so at the end of the summer when he started school again, he had it shaved, and he was just totally bald. And he said it was just easier for him to sit down and let his mom take a razor and do his head than it was trying to make that few pieces of hair he had left, look
I thought
sort
about
of good.
I thought about doing a bald, but keeping it bald is kind of work too. If you have a little bit on the side, you still got to maintain it and all that. So I don't know. I cut my own hair about once every couple months.
Roberta starts giving me a hard time about, oh, you were getting thin up there on the top, and I'm like, shut up, or I'll go have it all shaved off. And then so she hashes for a little while.
I got us had electric hair clippers. I just every couple of weeks, just all the way around.
Yeah, same here.
That's all you need. And then I still got like goofy 8 hairs still grow on the top of my head. So I have to buzz them.
I saw some picture. You know who Patrick Stewart is? Patrick Stewart. He's
Yeah,
Captain
Luke
Picard.
Picard.
Yeah, I saw a picture of him. It was on Facebook, and it was like 10 years before he did started Star Trek: The Next Generation, and he had a full head of hair, and it was dark, and he said it just all of a sudden fell out. It started falling out. Yeah. Santa's got to keep the beard. Yeah, I had a lot of hair. My hair was thick in high school too, Deb. That whole getting older has a lot to do with it.
You still got thick hair, it looks like, son.
Do what?
You still got thick hair. It looks like your hair's pretty thick still.
On the sides it is, but not right here. It's getting thin up on top. That's
Yeah,
the reason
pretty much giving up caring what I look like. I have no one to impress.
Same here. My modeling days with the hair blowing in the wind, those are over.
Yeah.
No more.
What, Gwen? Oh, Gwen still cares what I look like.
No more Fabio. Those days are gone.
I'll buzz my hair, and she'll come up and say, "Dang, you missed a spot. Look at
that." It's just what happens when you get old. And these youngsters out in the audience, they
OnlyFans.
They look themselves in the mirror and they look at no crow's feet, no smile lines, nothing. Perfect skin. And then all of a sudden you wake up in the morning and where'd all these lines come from? Where'd the hair go?
Yep. Where'd this big belly come from?
That's what I was about to say. Where's the stomach come from?
Well, guys, I got to get crack-a-lack, and I got to go do battle with the evil Lutherans.
Yeah, it's way past my appointed time here. So I want to thank everybody for coming in this morning. Mr. Sadie, you're always welcome to come in if you got time.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you having me.
And Scott, we'll catch you later when you get off the phone, I guess. So anyway, y'all have a great day. Todd, your show tomorrow, your channel?
Sure, why not?
All righty. Y'all.
Last day for a while.
See
Take care, everyone.
See Todd in the morning. Y'all have a great day. Bye.